Welcome everyone. My name is Joep. I'm with AUTOPROP software, and I'll be running you through AUTOPROP today, through all the basics and essentials. So what we'll start with, and I recommend people to follow along. That's the best way to learn and see what's possible and available in AUTOPROP. So if you see my screen here, this is the main page of AUTOPROP. We'll sign out first, and we'll go through different ways of logging into AUTOPROP. After that, we'll take a look at reports that you can create in AUTOPROP, accessing different layers and other features within the system. So there's different ways to log into AUTOPROP. So you can go to dashboard.autoprop.ca, or if you go to autoprop.ca as well. As I mentioned earlier, we'll start with logging into AUTOPROP, and after that, we'll take you through the main features of AUTOPROP, creating reports, creating summary sheets, accessing layers in AUTOPROP, and at the end, we have some time for questions. So to log into AUTOPROP, there's different ways. So you can go directly to autoprop.ca and click on the login button in the top right here. If you want to follow along, that's great. Then it's the best way to learn. So you can click on login here. That will take you through AUTOPROP. And then in the bottom part, you can log in using board credentials. So simply select your board and then log in with your board credentials. So this goes through a Realtor link. And once you log in here, it will redirect you automatically back to AUTOPROP and logs you into your own account. If you are in exposure, for example, you can actually really easily log into AUTOPROP as well. So when you're looking at a specific listing, for example, the one that I have open here, we have an AUTOPROP button under the actions. So in the top right corner, you have the actions button on a listing, and you see you have AUTOPROP right there. You can click there to log into AUTOPROP as well. Not sure if it works with my account here. This is a test account, so it doesn't work, but it should work fine with any of your accounts. What this does, it actually logs you into your own AUTOPROP account, and it will automatically select the property that you're viewing here in exposure. So when you're looking at a listing here in exposure, you want to find more information through AUTOPROP, simply click on that button and it will be selected automatically. So it's super easy. You can later on set up a known password as well in AUTOPROP, and you can just log in with your email address and password. And that's how I typically log in. And there we go. So it should look something like this. You'll have your main map here in view, and most likely it will be centered on Kamloops. And what we can start with is actually setting up branding for your AUTOPROP account. So you can actually brand the reports that you create through AUTOPROPs with your own contact information, a profile picture, maybe a company logo. And you do that through our settings menu in the top right corner. So here in the very top right corner, you see this gears icon. You can later on upload your own picture in your account, and it will show your picture. But that's your main settings menu. And we can go over to report branding. So top right corner, and then we go over to report branding. And that takes you to your branding page. So I already have some information typed in here. And it might look like this on no branding for you, or it looks personalized information. Some of your information might already be entered in here. And you can just change anything that you want here. And that will be updated automatically. So it saves automatically, no need to click any save buttons. You can add whatever you want to this. And you see here in the bottom left corner of your cover sheet example, you see that your contact information is updated there right away. What you can do is you can upload a personal picture too. So you can choose a file from your computer and upload that. So if I want to upload a picture for myself, there we go, and that will show up on your branding as well. Same for company logo. And then lastly, what we can do as well is change this default color that you have set here. So maybe you want to match the color to the website color that you have, or something that matches your logo. And at the very bottom of your branding page, you have your color picker. And in this button color picker, you can choose any color that you like. So if you want a nice bright green, you can set it like that. You see that the color is updated. Or if we want to go for the AUTOPROP blue, there we go. So very simple setting up your branding. Lastly, instead of adding your personalized information, we also have an option to upload a full banner. And this is where you can upload an image that fills out the entire bottom part here with an image. So it's a specific aspect ratio. So you see here, 1035 by 182. So if you have a graphic designer that you're working with, or you have like a marketing department that can help you create a banner, you can get something much more elaborate and professional looking, so that you can upload on the banner. So that's an image that you can upload as well. All right, thank you. Okay, so we'll continue with our branding, or actually we'll finish up branding here. So either choose banner or your personalized information and upload any information that you like. And again, this is automatically saved. So to go back to the main map of AUTOPROP where we started off, there's an X in the top right corner that will bring you back to the main screen. So whenever you are in a report or a settings menu, any type of other page within AUTOPROP, there's an X at the top right corner right here, and that will bring you back to the main map. So we'll start with is looking up a property to create a report on. So there's different reports you can create in AUTOPROP that we'll go over. We have the summary sheet, which is a quick one-pager, and we have the full report, which is a more comprehensive report that you can use to bring to a listing presentation, for example. So I actually don't know any addresses in Kamloops, so I'm just gonna grab a random property here. So what I did, I right-clicked the map to select this property, and now a regular click on the highlight to see the information. So just want to grab a address so I can show you how to type that in a search, and I'll just reset my map to start fresh. Let's pretend I know this address from the top of my head, and we'll start typing that out in the search bar in the top left corner. So 829 Columbia, and we want the one in Kamloops. So we see here the right address popping up. Simply click there. What it does, it selects the property and brings up that information bubble automatically. So you can see by the red highlight on the map right here that the property is selected. So you can, as I showed you, type in an address and select the property, or right-click on the map to add properties as well. And you can bring up the same information bubble just by clicking on the selected property. So if everyone wants to follow along with what we're doing, try typing in 829 Columbia and picking the right address to select the property. I'll give you a second to do that. Maybe I'll reload my page and show you once more. So 829 Columbia. And there we go, select address in Kamloops. Okay, so we have our information bubble. It will give you the address, the PID, any zoning information. So this is an RS1. You can also click here to see the street view. And let's get started with the summary sheet. So the summary sheet, as I mentioned before, is a one-pager with essential details on the property. So you see here, pulled up here on the left. And so you have your address, your PID again, your legal description, any zoning information. If we would have any community plan information, would be there as well. Fortunately, we were not able to access any OCP designations, for example, through Kamloops. Maybe in the future, if the city adds that to their web map, we can. But we have information like the year build, the bedrooms and bathrooms, etc. on the property. We also have assessment information. We still have it for the previous year. We're waiting for our data provider to update it to the latest assessment data. So that will be most likely next week. And then we'll have the latest assessments. But you can see the previous year compared to the current year and see how much the assessment value has changed over time. So in this case, it went down almost 6% compared to the previous year. That's just for the building. Actually, the total went up almost 6%. Then we have appreciation as well, which will take a look at the current assessment value compared to any sales history if we had that available. This is something that will be added very soon as well. And then lastly, we have school catchment information. So we can see which school catchments the property is in. So for elementary school, it's BD, and secondary school, it's South Kamloops. And you see we have ratings and rankings from the Fraser Institute as well. So it's 6.5 out of 10 and a 7 out of 10. And so this is the summary sheet. So really quick overview of the property. These are great if you're going for a buyer's tour, for example. You're showing your client a few properties, then you can quickly print these out and hand them out to your client. And these are branded, so when you save it as a PDF, it will have all your branding information on it. So it's a really nice handout because your client will have all your information right there. So you can try to save that as a PDF. So simply click on this Save PDF button right here. And then we simply click on Generate PDF. And that should open up in a new tab. Sometimes your Google browser might block that initial tab to open. In that case, just click on the Save PDF button, and it will push it through and open it in a new tab. So here you see we have our summary sheet, all the data that we saw earlier, plus the branding that we set up with the custom color. And it's a really beautiful, quick way to create an overview of the property. So again, how we got here, we selected our property by typing in the address, and then simply click on Summary Sheet, and then Save PDF and Generate PDF. So pretty much 3 clicks, and you have a nice overview of the property saved to your computer or printed out. So that's the summary sheet. And next will be the full report. So the full report is a more comprehensive report. You can choose which data sources you want to include and not. So let's click on the full report button. So it's either here on the summary sheet if you have it already open, or on the information bubble, you have the big green button here as well. You can't miss it for full report. So these reports are really great to prepare for a listing presentation. Look up all your comparables, look up additional information from the city, for example, and get all the information together to have a nice presentation for your client and gather the knowledge that you need for the property. So you see for me, certain data sources already loaded in. And that's because I set these as defaults. So you can choose different data sources to load automatically for each report. And the way to choose your data sources and your defaults is by clicking on the Adjust Report Contents button. So here you see the big green button, Adjust Report Contents. You click there, you see a menu with everything that's available, everything that you have selected, everything you have set as defaults. So again, in the full report, click on the Adjust Report Contents button. And if you want to follow along, please press there. All right. So I'll start fresh. I'll deselect everything, clear all my favorites. So it will look the same as everyone else. So these are all the data sources that are available for this specific property. And especially municipal parts will change if you go to a different municipality. Different options would be available. So we start with geographical. We have property boundary topography that will give you elevations on the property and see if there's much of a slope. We have nearest schools with ranking. This will give you more detailed school information, catchments, Fraser Institute ratings. We have your walk score, which is a score you might be familiar with, how walkable or how connected to transit the property is. And let's say we really like these three data sources and we want to load them automatically every time I create a report. We can set them as a default by clicking on these stars. So simply click on the star to set each one as a default. And it's indicated by the color yellow when it is set as a default. Then we have your municipal data. So this is what we get from directly from the municipality or from the regional district. So we have a GIS, that stands for Geographic Information System, and that is the city's web map or the district's web map. So we have different layers that we can pull up on the property, for example, drainage or sanitary, maybe floodplain information, contours, elevation contours we can set. So we can pick and choose which one we want to pull up. And we can also set this as a default as well. So we can, if we click on the star here, that will set those options that we set here on the left. So only these options will be set as a default as well. So if I add wildfire threat to this, you actually see that the star now changes color to orange. That means that we had set this as a default. However, you made a change within your settings, and that just indicates that you have something different than your default. Let's say you want wildfire threat as a default as well. Simply click on the star one more time, turn it yellow, and that is updated to your defaults as well. I'll add some information from the regional district. And if you don't want this, you won't just want to look at it for this specific report, you don't have to set it as a default, and then next time it won't be automatically selected. And we have Google views, so street view and bird view to get a nice impression of the property. And lastly, we have our comparables integration. So for comparables, I would recommend when you set a default to only set a default for three things here. For search radius, so every search you do goes by search radius. So we have it set now for 1 kilometer. So 1 kilometer around the property, we're looking for listings. Status, I would perhaps active and sold is a good default to have. And then I would set dates as well as a default. So if you set nothing selected, all active listings will come up. And then we, of course, want to limit the sold date to keep things relevant and not have too many results there. So maybe 90, maybe 60 days would be good, whatever you prefer. And then we can set this as a default. So this is a really good starting point. This will bring up the results for every search you do. And then you can go a little bit more specific. So I just want to look for single family. I wouldn't really recommend setting property type, for example, as a default. because it will change from search to search. One day you're looking for single family homes, then for townhomes, then for apartments or land, you name it. So that's something that I wouldn't recommend setting as a default. And we have much more options to choose from, like lot sizes, year builds, bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. And we can first keep things quite open, and then we can always narrow down our search later on. So once you've set all your settings here, then we can finally click on update, and everything will load into your report. First set everything, then click update, green button in the bottom right corner. As you see, everything was loading in, and when we scroll down, you see all the data sources coming up. All right, so one way to navigate to your report is by using the Go To button next to the green button here. And when you click on Go To, you see a list of all the data sources that we have included in our report. So if we want to see the schools with rankings, simply click on that data source here, and we automatically scroll down the report. Saves you scrolling through the report yourself. So what we can do first is look at the comparables, and if it's not at the top of your report, then just click on Go To and click on Kamloops KADREA comparables. So go to and then click on the comparables option. And you see that we have a map with the results. You see the green pins are the actives, blue pins are solds. If you'd have any other type of listings in there, you see here in the legend what color they will have. And they're number 2, 1, 2, I think 12, 13, and that corresponds with the numbers that you see here on the left. And I'll make the font a little bit larger so you can see it a bit better. So you see the numbers here correspond with here. So if you click here on the map, you see the same details you'll see in the table down below here. So you have your table view with all the results, and you can sort it by any column that you have. So for example, if you want to see the actives first and then the solds, click on status, you have your actives and then your solds. I'll click on it again to reverse it and have your solds first and then your actives. You can sort by list price, for example, from low to high or high to low. And if you want to maybe narrow down your search, because you probably don't need this property that is almost $1.5 million. So what we can do is filter our search a little bit as well. So what we do is go to the top of the data source and then click on the adjust button. So make sure to scroll back up and then click on adjust. Whenever you're scrolling in AUTOPROP as well in your report, make sure to have your mouse kind of on the right or the left hand of the report and scroll that. And if you scroll kind of in the middle, you see that you might be zooming in and out on a map, which might get frustrating. So scroll to the sides. So let's all click on adjust and we'll set some more specific search criteria. And that brings up the same window again with just the search criteria for this specific data source. So maybe we'll do price range from 500,000 to 700, and we want at least 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, for example. Set your search criteria and click on update. So what happens now is we're doing the search again and we see that it's loading here, and now it's updated with everything within those new criteria. And you see that the high and the low prices are filtered out, and we only have listings with more than 3 bedrooms and more than 2 bathrooms. Now we have a more specific result here. If you, from here, want to cherry pick through the results as well, you can do that as well. And you can simply remove individual listings from the table by clicking on the garbage bin. So if this, for example, is one that isn't that relevant, and you can just remove it there from your table. You can even export your table to an Excel file if you wish to. You can always click on export to CSV, and you see a CSV file with all this data has created for you and sent to your downloads folder. We have your schools with rankings. So if you want to go yourself, click on go to near schools with rankings. Get you here. You see here your elementary school, schools in the area. Simply click on these pins to see some information, the name and the ratings. And you can also look through the table here as well with all the schools and the ratings and see if there's any special programs. For example, Scale Up is an independent school, and the same for secondary schools here. You see here too, when you hover over certain pins, you see that school E, that is Saheli Secondary, in red will show up their catchment. So the kind of yellow gold color pin, that's the catchment for the catchment school, so South Kamloops. And then here for the schools would show up as well if they're not independent. So only public schools that works. So that's how the report works here, adding data sources, changing data sources, setting them as defaults. We have some more options as well. So we can, for example, add a note to your report. So you give it a title and type something out. And click add note. It's always added to the top, so we can see here the first one is the note. You see that right here. So if you want to add a note to, for example, the schools to give them more details, or add a note to the comparables to add some more details to the comparables, you can do this, and you can sort your report by clicking on the sort button, and that gives you the list of all your data sources as well, and you can just drag and drop wherever you want it. So if you want underneath schools with rankings, just drop it there. Click on save, and now you see it's right underneath the schools here. We'll do that again. We grab a data source and drag it all the way to the top. Click save, and you now see that's right here at the top of your report. Something you can do as well is upload images or PDFs. So if you have some nice images of the property, or you have extra documentation that you want to include, you can upload images or PDFs. So simply click on the Add PDF Image button here in the top right. And you can either drag and drop files in here, or click on Browse and add a picture. And it will be added here at the top as well. So you see the picture is uploaded. You're able to edit your cover page as well. So you see on the cover page, we have an example right here. Cover page uses a picture of the street view, but in certain cases, it might not be the best view. Sometimes a big truck might be parked right in front, so you can see the property, or here you have quite a bit of hedges that you see, might not be the best picture to use. So you can click on Edit Cover Page. And we have two options. We can either change the street view, or we can upload our own image. So the street view, very simple to use. You kind of click and drag, try to get a different angle on the property. And then you can click on Use this street view to update the image. So you see right here that's updated. Or if you have a nicer image yourself of the property, you choose the upload image option right there. And then again, choose to find your image selected from your files, and then crop it and click on save. And now you have a nice image instead of the street view. Lastly, simply click on confirm, and your cover page is updated. So once you're happy with your report, we can click on Save PDF to create a PDF, which you can either save to your files, email out, print, whatever you want to do with it. So again, click on Save PDF. Compared to the summary sheet, we have an extra option here to deselect any data sources that you might not want to show. So maybe the GIS was something that you just want to show to your just want to see yourself and not particularly have to show to your client, then you can deselect that so it won't be saved in the final version, and then click on Generate PDF. This again is loaded into a new tab in your browser. And again, Google might block this through the pop-up blocker. You'll see a little notification here in the top right, and you can click on Allow for AUTOPROP. If this happens, you can also click on the Save PDF button again to push that through. So here you see the PDF version of your report. You start with the beautiful cover page, and then all the data sources below. If you want to save it, in the top right corner, you can click on download and save it to your files, or you can click on the printer to print it. And that is your full report. So especially I recommend setting those defaults. So that makes it really quick to create your reports, set all your favorites, set it up like the way you like it. Then you simply click on that full report button, maybe make 1 or 2 changes, and you have a really comprehensive report ready for your client. Saves you a ton of time. All right, so and the X in the top right corner again, of course, to get back to the main map. So what we can do next is we can look at different layers we have on a map. So if you zoom into a specific area of interest, then you can click on the layers icon in the top right corner. So very top right corner, you see this blue round button, and that will open up the layers menu. Very right top corner here. So what we can find in our layers, for example, is land use. So in Kamloops, we have zoning available. So just click on the zoning toggle and wait for the layer to load. And there we go. We can see different colors indicating different zoning. So this is C6. We have an RT1. This is all RT1. We have a P2 in there, RM3. And if you want to know more about the specific zonings, click on the link here for RM3, for example. And that will load the document on the City of Kamloops website. And you have it right here, RM3, downtown multiple family, high density. So it's super easy to find more information on zoning and just browse the map and see what the specific zoning is in an area. When there's a little eyeball with a line through it, that means that the layer isn't available in this specific area, but it might be available somewhere else. So we see, for example, ALR not available here. If we zoom out and move over a little bit, see that ALR will be available right now. So the Agricultural Land Reserve. We also have DPA, that's Development Permit Area. And that, for example, shows you floodplain information in an area. And maybe if there's other specific rules and regulations for development in an area, you can find that through DPA as well. What we can take a look at as well is development applications. So under development, turn that on, and you see in blue, development applications, building permits, light up in the area. Simply click and see what's going on. So a lot of development permits here. If you want more information, it's all available through the city, but you can at least see what is going on, what have been applied for in specific areas. Then we have under comparables, we have here listings through the MLS again. So very similar search options. And you just type in your search criteria. Click search, and they come up on your screen. There you go, and the color scheme is the same, green for active, blue for solds. If you wanted to change your map background, that can be done through the layers as well. So on the top, you can choose between aerial and map. You can choose for a map overlay or aerial, and you have different options in here as well. You can choose between different providers, either Mapbox, ESRI, or Bing. They kind of do the same. Some are more updated in specific areas, some more clear in other areas. So whichever works best for you. All right, so these are the map layers. And another option that you can do in AUTOPROP is get information on multiple properties at once. So let's clear our selections off the map. So we have under the reset map button here in the bottom, different options. We'll clear our property selections right now. And that clears any properties that I've selected. So let's say in a specific area right here, this block, you just sold a property and you would like to send the neighbors a just sold mailer, just advertising yourself, sold this property in this area. I can help you sell your house for an excellent price as well. I'm aware that you might want to send out a postal walk through Canada Post. That's kind of a blanket. We'll send the mailers to a large area. Probably a lot of them might not be interested in your services because it's totally unrelated to a property that you just sold. And in AUTOPROP, you can actually really target precisely to which properties you want the addresses. And for example, if you want to select this block of houses, of course, you can right-click each property to select them. Might take a little bit of time. So we have some selection tools as well. So here in the top right corner, or in the top right here, we have different selection tools. So if we click here, we can get our rectangular tool. So you just click on the map and then drag your selection over. Select it over this block here, and you see all the properties are selected automatically. So I'll try that again for the neighboring block here. Click in one corner and then drag this blue area. Make sure you don't go too large. If you try to select an area too large, it will turn red. That means that you can't select that many properties at once. We'll give you an error notification. In certain cases, the rectangle tool might not help. For example, for these houses here along Columbia, it's kind of awkward. So if we want to select those properties, we'll take or draw a polygon selection tool. And this allows you to just click around the properties that you want to select. Just keep clicking to create a shape, and then click on the first point to finish your shape, and all the properties there will be selected. So again, click on the Draw a Polygon tool, and just click around the properties that you want to include. Click on the first point to finish your selection, and there you go. So if you now want to get all the addresses, you can click on the button in the bottom left corner here. So you see it says 33. That means 33 properties are currently selected. When we click on that button, we have a nice table view of all those properties. So again, from the map, click on the button in the bottom left corner that indicates how many properties you have selected. And there you go, you have a table with all your addresses, and the PIDs are already there. And the only thing you have to do is click on Export Selected, and then Export to Excel. And that will create a nice Excel spreadsheet, which you can use to create mailing labels, for example, address labels. So then you have a very targeted search for specific properties. What I'll show you as well is how to select an apartment building. So if you want to select send mailers through an apartment building, we can do that as well. So let's move our map over. And we have an apartment building right here, Park Place, for example. And the only thing you have to do is right-click on the building. And then we see a strata selector coming up. So this means that we found stratified units here, and we see here that the address plus 94 properties. So there's 94 properties in here. We simply click on Add All Selected. Now you can see too that this is a more solid color that indicates whenever a stratified parcel is selected. If we do a regular click on here, you can see as well in the information bubble that all those properties are now listed in that information bubble. And in the button in the bottom left corner, you can see actually 94 properties are selected. And you have them all in your table right here. And again, export to Excel. Okay, so that is selecting multiple properties at once. Lastly, if you want to learn more about AUTOPROP, we have a skill center here in the top right corner. And the skill center shows you all the different workflows we've gone through today. So how to create a report, master the multiple property search, understanding land use layers, search for development and rezoning, and setting up your custom branding. So these are really easy to follow articles that we have in our help center. So we even have videos for these, and very easy, simple steps to follow with images. So if you ever forgotten how to do something, make sure to check out our skill center. We also have a help center that is a more comprehensive list of articles, so that really takes you into more detail on what you can do with AUTOPROP. And if you can't find your answer in any of the articles in the skill center or the help center, we also have a live chat available. So that's the blue button in the bottom right corner. And business hours, Monday to Friday, feel free to reach out to us, and we're more than happy to help you. So you can start a new conversation and just say, hi, I need help. And somebody will help you along. We try to get back to your questions as soon as possible. We also have an option to change your account settings. So in the top right corner, click on your settings and then My account. You can update your details, change your email address, change your password. You can also change your area of specialization. So this is where the map starts. So if you're not based out of Kamloops, for example, Ashcroft, for example, then when you start a new AUTOPROP session, instead of centering the map on Kamloops, it will center the map on Ashcroft, for example. So these are the most essential features through AUTOPROP, and I hope this was helpful. And I think we have a few minutes for any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Joep. It was a great session. We saw ways to build summary sheets and a full report. It was very well explained. Thank you so much. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, kindly send them as a message to me, or just raise your hand and I'll unmute you for you to ask your question. Anyone, any questions? We will also be sharing this complete video as an emailer. So you will get this video. You can watch it again. You can see ways to log in. If anybody missed ways to log in initially, they can watch the video, the recorded video, and they will know how to do that. I'm still waiting for anyone with questions. You can either send them across or just raise your hand, let me know, and I will have you unmuted. Okay, we have one question from Murray Brown. And Murray Brown asks, can you combine both selection tools when geofencing?
Yeah, you can. So you just have to do one selection and the other. So I'll show you that here on the map. Wait till the tiles load in. You'll see when you're in a new area, it might take a little bit longer for it to load, but once you start going to the same area, it actually caches the tiles in your browser, and it will be a lot faster. So to select both tools, you can certainly do that. So you can first make a selection right here, and then change your selection tool and do this one as well. There we go. And we see our chat is helping us as well here. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Murray.
Okay, thank you, Joep. Murray says thanks. Anyone else with any questions? Rob Rome has a question, and it is, can we organize reports by sold and by price?
Yes, we can. So let me go back to Kamloops, and I'll actually show you in the meantime another way to navigate through AUTOPROP. So we have by default AUTOPROP search, which when you type in an address, the property will be automatically selected. If you're not too sure about an address or just want to navigate to a general area, you can just switch it over to Google Maps, and then we'll type in Kamloops. And then the map will just navigate there. You can do that with addresses too if you're not exactly sure about an address. So let's quickly bring up a comparables report. And then we'll sort by sold and by price. Okay, so we are loading it in. I'll go to comparables. Okay. So you can do status, click on the status header, and you'll have the solds first. Or if you just want solds, you can do that as well. So if you don't want any actives, we can click on the adjust button here on the comparables. We simply remove actives from the status, so you just have solds in there, and then click on update. And then from there, you can also click on the sold price to sort either lowest to highest or highest to lowest. I hope that answered your question, Rob.
Okay, we'll wait for Rob to respond. In the meantime, there's another question while you're on this screen, Joep, and that's, okay, Rob asks, how about ascending price for both active and sold together?
Yeah, for sure. We'll add the actives back in here. And then we'll wait till that loads. And you can either sort by list price or sold price. So if we want, we can start with sorting the solds and then the actives, and then we can also sort by list price. There we go, or the other way around, from highest to lowest.
Okay, and Joep, is there any way we can move columns as well?
No, the columns are set. They are not able to move around. If you have any suggestions, if this order of these columns don't make sense, perhaps, we'd love to hear your feedback. So whenever you have feedback on AUTOPROP, please let us know through the live chat. And actually, we do have a leave feedback button here as well. You can click that, that will actually open up the chat, and then you can type in your message as well. We definitely love to hear your feedback, because that way we can keep improving our system.
Okay, anyone? Yeah, there is another question coming in from Marie Brown, and it says, could the icon colors be modified to match what our MLS system uses?
Okay, so I imagine the colors here for the green and the blue to match what we potentially could do that. That's something that we would have to do through our development team. But yeah, definitely let us know, because we can most likely do that through to match that to exposure app, for example. And then again, let us know in the live chat for that type of feedback.
Perfect. We don't have any questions for now. Anyone with any questions, you can ask Joep right now, or if you have any feedback, or if, yes, there's another question that's coming in. It's from Michelle Andrusoff, and she says, is it possible to export reports and what not to Google Sheets rather than Excel? Or just wondering what happens if you don't have Excel and you try to export something. Can you see her question, Joep?
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yes,
excellent question. So yeah, you can for example, if you export this table to CSV, we sometimes call it Excel because people are more familiar with Excel than CSV. CSV is just a spreadsheet type. But if you don't have Excel, you can open up these files with Google Sheets or Numbers if you have a Mac or any other type of software that opens spreadsheet files. So it's just a general CSV type that you can open with pretty much any type of software that opens spreadsheets.
Okay, does that answer your question, Michelle? Yes. Anyone else with any questions? Okay, we will be sharing this video with our members by tomorrow or day after, and you should be able to access this entire training session whenever you like it. If you have any questions, you can have them forwarded to KADREA office, and we will share them with AUTOPROP. Any feedback is appreciated, and we have another session that's coming up on the 28th. You would be having access links for that. So if you want to come in again and go through this amazing session, you can do that on the 28th as well. Okay, this looks like it. Joep, thanks again for this amazing session. We will see you again on the 28th. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone, for joining with us. Have a great day. Thanks.